Welcome to the world of sheep. Even if you have never owned sheep, sheep affect our lives daily. Sheep provide wool, meat, milk and cheese, and byproducts. Shepherds love lambing season the most. In the year in the flock, a sheep's year begins at birth. Breeds, climate, and future intentions schedule lambing, but typically it is in full swing in the spring here in the Northeast. Weather begins to warm, however, nasty storms often blow in March.
The sheep begin to look fuller with their heavy winter fleece that is ready to come off. Routine and chores, including checking the flock in the morning and night. We're still tucking the ewes together at night so they bed down as a flock. If the shepherd is needing Easter lambs for market or lambs for early shows like the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival held the first week of May, then lambing is in full swing. We carry a small notebook and record bursts, looking for any distressed ewes or lambing issues. All-nighters can be common for the shepherd. Interestingly, at the end of March, the ewes show a strong desire to begin traveling in search of old grass beneath the snow. It will be a little longer before new grass begins to show up here. Sheep milk is highly nutritious, richer in vitamins A, B, and E, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, and magnesium than cow's milk. It contains a higher proportion of short and medium chain fatty acids, which have recognized health benefits. Cheeses you may know include feta, ricotta, and pecorino. Many farms like Northland Sheep Dairy, located in Marathon, New York, milk and market their products throughout the Northeast.
Violet is introduced into the world after her 145-day journey and her mother. The flock is sheared in early to mid-April. It's one of the few times during the year that the whole flock is close at hand.
After the sheep are sheared is a good time to check the condition of the flock and do any treatment for external or internal parasites. When emphasis is placed on land health and sheep mineral program, these two treatments become almost negligible. During or after shearing is also time to vaccinate. Wool is the fibrous covering from sheep and is by far the most important animal fiber used in textiles. It appears to have been the earliest fiber to be spun and woven into cloth. Wool belongs to the family of proteins, the keratins. That also includes hair and other types of animal protective tissue, such as horn, nails, feathers, beaks, and outer skin layers. Wool is comfortable to wear in both warm and cool climates. This is because wool is an absorbent fiber. When the air is cool and damp, wool absorbs moisture and keeps a layer of dry, insulating air next to the skin. When it is warm, the same absorption capacity takes up perspiration and keeps insulating dry air next to the skin, making the body's natural cooling system work better. The possibilities are endless for processing wool. Battenkil's Fibers, locally owned and operated in Greenwich, New York, offers carding, roving, yarn, along with custom dyeing of the sheep wool. Wool is also the only fiber that is naturally fire resistant. Wool smolders or chars instead of bursting into flame, and self-extinguishes when the flame source is removed. For safety reasons, many airlines use wool or wool blends for the upholstery fabric on their seats. Wool is favored by the U.S. military for uniforms. Depending on the speed of the winter thaw, grass might begin to show in late April, along with the spring rains. The flock will show a strong tendency to migrate and begin grazing. Fences are checked and sheep let to wander on open fields where any grass is available. Hay feed is still being provided. Chores involve a morning, afternoon, and evening check of the flock, looking for new lambs. It is vital to the survival of the lamb that they bond with the ewe. If a lamb appears to be weak or need additional attention, they are sorted into a smaller pen. This allows for additional handling, but also takes up considerable resources to manage. As lambing tapers off, the flock is checked daily, along with the care of our guardian dogs who are on call. We want to see the signs of contentment that let us know all is well. Enjoying the new lambs is a highlight of the shepherd's year. 9 times out of 10, everything is fine, as we have aimed for ewes who are capable of taking care of birth on their own for this very purpose. Occasionally, we will need to assist a ewe birthing a large lamb or graft an orphaned lamb if possible. but otherwise we do not like to interfere.
Violet is 1 month old, and her mother Rosa is being sheared. She is drinking daily and is trying new things such as grass and grains. This is the month we transition from a few green shoots of grass to green grass everywhere.
The flock is out on the pasture, and we have begun our rotational grazing program. The flock moves through fenced paddocks. Moves are accomplished with shepherds and sheepdogs for those who have them. Rams are in a separate pasture and moving less often since there are fewer of them. At this point in the year of the flock, schedule and daily routine involves checking the flock every day and feeding guard dogs. When checking, we are looking for behavioral changes that indicate predator trouble, illness, or imminent birthing. Rotational grazing moves are still occurring. We move temporary fencing regularly to keep ahead of the flock. We don't push everyone to move at the same time, but we'll leave the gate open, allowing those with newborns to catch up the next day or two. Topping off mineral tubs and checking the water station are becoming daily habits. Fence building and maintenance begins and will continue until the ground freezes again.
Violet is out on the open pasture and enjoying the open space. Once more, we set up a pen to do tail docking and castration before fly season sets in.
Both docking and castrating are done with elastrator rings. Some shepherds use a hot docker for doing the tails. June is a graceful and busy month. Chores involve a morning and evening check of the flock. The ewes have begun weaning their lambs, and separation occurs naturally. Rotational grazing is still continuing.
Violet is being sheared for her lamb's wool, and her tail is being docked before fly season. Fair time is on everyone's mind. Preparing and fitting the flock for show is an important part of the shepherd's year.
This is the showcase of the entire year. Prior to fair, it is mandatory to have the flock viewed by a veterinarian to provide an exhibition certificate of veterinary inspection. Rabies, vaccines, ear tags are all checked and recorded. Fleeces are skirted for show along with the shepherd's wool byproducts. The summer is upon us, and July is a steady month of moving fencing and sheep from paddock to paddock. We are managing to prevent bloat due to our strong, lush grass pastures. Moves with the flock are frequent. Each move involves moving sheep, the portable water station, and the minerals. The grass will be close to maturity and haying begins. The lambs are 4 months old or older and are gaining weight rapidly.
Violet is now 4 months old. Along with the other sheep selected to go to the fair, she's being washed and trimmed for the show. We haul our hay bales into the barn and plan our winter paddock area for winter feeding.
August is a month of upkeep and work projects. We continue moving fencing and flock. We will still check the flock each day, providing much needed water. The lambs are very active. We enjoy taking some evening time to sit on the hillsides and laugh at the lamb races and King of the Hill antics.
Violet is now 5 months old and is being reintroduced to the pastures with excitement. Sheep are still out on pasture. Flushing of ewes begins. If late winter lambs are desired, the rams will be put in with ewes mid-September.
Sheep have a 145-day gestation cycle. Extra nutrients are necessary to prepare the ewes for breeding and to be sure the rams are in their best condition.
Violet is turning 6 months old and is growing bigger as the days go on. October is a slow month for the flock.
Fence building continues until the ground freezes. They are still grazing. Breeding begins as rams are introduced to the ewe flock. We set up the winter paddock area for winter feeding.
Violet is 7 months old and is being separated from the older ewes, including her mother, who will be bred again. In a grass-based year, November can feel like a busy month. We bring the flock to the yard and run lambs over a scale. We sort out lambs for market, keeper ram lambs, and replacement ewe lambs.
We tag any animals headed for sale or harvest, and we ear tag replacement ewe lambs that will be staying on the farm. Lamb is a prime source of high-quality protein, vitamins, and minerals. As with other red meats, its protein is naturally complete with all 8 essential amino acids in proper ratios. We book a truck for transport and send lambs to a buyer or to a sale. Replacement ewe lambs remain with the flock. Since they soon will be capable of breeding, any ram lambs we are keeping will be separated. The flock continues to graze as long as there is enough available forage. We supplement with hay in the field until snow falls. Grazing moves are less frequent, and the flock stays closer to the barn for safety and regular vision checks. Chores include a twice-a-day check of the flock, and guard dogs take care of the perimeter. In the evenings, we will have started to gather the flock so they bed down together, one way to assist the guard dogs with predator control. By November, we run water to a heated water tank to water the flock on pasture. We also have available water at the barn at all times. The flock is again sorted into breeding groups. Typically, we have a main flock with rams, some prime ewes with maternal breed rams, and ewe lambs, which will not be bred.
Violet is 8 months old, in search for the last tufts of grass before snow covers the ground. As long as the snow is not hindering the flock, they will still be winter grazing.
Once the pasture grass is no longer feeding the animals, we move them into the barn. The flock has access outside daily. We try to limit the number of days we have to feed hay, which is our most expensive cost in raising sheep. As the snow accumulates and the bitter cold of December sets in, we are watchful of the ewes getting enough to eat. We supplement with grain for extra nutrition and energy. Chores consist of checking the flock twice a day and gathering them in the evening to bed down together.
Violet is 9 months old and enjoying her first snowfall. The flock will be on total hay feed. Chores now consist of morning and evening feeding.
Food is protected from the elements to be as nutritious as possible. We try to manage our flock in as few groups as possible during the winter to keep in line with our goal of easy management.
Violet is 10 months old and staying inside the barn during the winter's frigid temperatures. January and February are the 2 months we use to update our records, do major bookkeeping and tax preparation, and other inside paperwork jobs and hobbies.
The ewe lambs rejoin the ewe flock. The rams and any wethers are put together in one group. We will have a small set of rams sorted off and kept separate for the purpose of harvesting. We will keep to our 3-group maximum. Chores continue as in January.
Violet is 11 months old now and will soon be resorted and begin the year as a yearling.
When most people think of sheep, 2 items come to mind: meat and wool. These 2 products account for the majority of the income for sheep producers. However, there are numerous possibilities to use all parts of the sheep. Sheep touch our lives daily, either by the shampoo, soap, and lotions we use, clothes we wear, wool, leather, the rugs we walk on, the seats we sit in, the balls we play with, the instruments we play, the food we eat, from lamb chops to jello, on our bone china plates, are all made possible by sheep. Sheep are a valuable resource for the byproducts they provide. Caring and raising sheep is a year-long process, but the rewards are endless. We have given you a glimpse into the year in a flock. You can see how important sheep are to us daily.